Hey, what's up everybody? GeekMAXX here today, and today I have a thoughts review on an airplane. This is the Parkzone AS3xtra. It is my first 3D plane. I've been training on a simulator a lot, but this is my first one that I've actually flown. So for starters, it's $100. It's a micro UMX from Parkzone, so it's very small. You know, it's only about a 16-inch wingspan or so it's not too big. The box it comes in is huge though. It's kind of funny, but you need a huge box that's very sturdy to protect something that's this fragile. So a couple things about the plane up front. It does have AS3X on it, which actually does work pretty good. You can fly it in the wind, not too bad. I'm comfortable flying it in 4 to 5 mile-an-hour winds, and it's okay as long as you're pointing into the wind most of the time. It does have some really cool modes on the AS3X settings. It's got some modes that can help you hover, help you do knife edges and stuff. So if you're training to do 3D, it's a pretty good plane to do that with the exception of a few things that I'll cover later. So as the plane goes, of course, it's 4-channel. All 3D planes have to be. It is a brushed motor. It's very small. It runs on the standard 1S batteries that most of the micros run on. However, with this particular plane, you do want to run the upgraded 45C 1S LiPo batteries, not the standard 25C ones. The reason why is the 25C batteries, they just don't have enough power towards the end of the charge to let the plane do what it needs to do aerobatic wise. So spend the money if you buy this and pick up a few of those 45C 1S E-Flight batteries also. I picked them up off of Horizon's website for $5 each, and I decided to get 4 of them. So the plane flies fantastic. Do I fly fantastic? No. The answer to that is no. Well, I'm not bad. I'm pretty good, but the plane flies really great. The aerodynamics work. I put on the optional side force generators. They help with knife edging a little bit more. Just gives a little bit better stability. I tried it both ways, and I do like it better. They do require that you CA glue those on. And since I believe this is made out of Depron, I don't think you have to use foam safe CA glue, but I did anyway just because. So a couple things about the plane that I don't like. It is extremely fragile. Extremely fragile. Like I said, I'm a pretty good pilot. This thing has seen the ground a couple of times, but nothing major. But I'll tell you right now, almost every time I've flown this thing, I had to do some kind of repair. Whether it was putting tape over a hole in the covering, using some CA glue to fix some Depron, whatever. Almost every time I've flown this thing, I've had to repair it one way or another. The wheel pants, they're going to fall off immediately, so just take them off. They look stupid anyway. My recommendations, if you're going to buy this plane, there's a couple things you're going to want to do to it pretty much immediately, which I had to do over the course of about, I don't know, 8 to 10 flights. So pretty much all of the front end of the plane, this ridge here, the side edges here, and of course the bottom leading edge here, you're going to want to reinforce all of that with carbon fiber. It's so weak. Like seriously, the smallest frontal impacts just make this thing get all crazy and jacked up. You need to reinforce that, and to do that, all you need is just some very thin, this is 0.3 carbon fiber rods. Is it 0.3 or 0.03? Yeah, 0.3. Any 0.3 or 0.2, or 0.2 to 0.3, any of those will work fine. 0.3 is a little bit more rigid than the 0.2 was, so I opted with this, and it's not too big. But basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get an X-Acto knife and just trim a little channel into the Depron. Let me zoom in here, get a little bit closer here. Okay, so had I have done this again from the start, here's what I would have done. Okay, as you can see, I've had to make several repairs to this and it's all ghetto right now. But what I would recommend doing is cut a channel on this side. I had to do this in the top because I messed it up earlier, but here's what I would do. Cut a channel from about here, as straight as you can to about there, and just do one long carbon fiber rod there, and you'll want to do one here because that's going to break really easy, and maybe one here because that's pretty thin. I haven't had an issue with that one popping yet. But run a carbon rod for sure from here all the way to here, one solid piece if you can. Another area we're going to want to do that is underneath. Let's refocus here, good enough. Okay, so I'd recommend taking a channel from maybe a quarter way back in the wing from here, all the way up to the front, till about right there. Just one long carbon fiber spar there. Do the same thing on the other side, because what happens is this whole side piece gets all crinkled and wavy, and it totally messes with the aerobatics, and it makes it much harder to fly. So, but as you can see, I had to do that, so I had to do it in this very thin side part. So I had to be very careful when I cut these channels, but it works okay. But anyway, do a real long one from there to there, and you'll be good. Now you'll also want to reinforce this bottom area. I didn't do this very good, but you'll also want to do this little stretch here too, because this breaks really, really easily. As you can see in this part, I kind of murdered this. This whole piece of foam there just got so bad, I had to remove it, and I just put one spar going all the way across that. Now though, now that I've added these carbon fiber, that's much more rigid, much more durable. It's going to last me a lot longer now. So for $100, is it worth it? I would say yes, as long as you do the reinforcements like I showed you guys. The back end of the plane doesn't really need so much. You know, if you want to put a spar in the tip of the tail, that's fine, but I don't feel that I need to do that. It's mostly the frontal areas which are going to have the problems, so definitely reinforce that. But like I said, if you're an experienced pilot and you're looking for a 3D plane to train on, assuming you had some simulator experience, which I would highly recommend, this would be a pretty good option. It's only $100, so it's not too expensive. The only problem is it's just so darn fragile. If you're really good at fixing planes, or you're gonna go ahead and take my recommendations, I say go ahead and get it. Otherwise, keep it plenty high. If you have to fly outside, do it on a day where there is no wind until you're accustomed to how a 3D plane flies, because it's much more touchy. So a couple things on the radio real quick. I have a DX6i by Spectrum, and they actually do give you a setup instructions within the manual, which is really cool. The manual is very straightforward. They're going to tell you everything about the plane and how to set up your radio in order to do it. Now what I was surprised about is they did not recommend setting up any expos. I guess you don't need it because the AS3X in the plane kind of helps tone it down a little bit. They do recommend that you set up some dual rate. So I put on my low settings I've got 70%, and on my high settings I have 100%, but I just fly it at 100% and it's flies like a champ. So well, that's all I got on the Parkzone UMX AS3XTRA. If you guys have any questions, post down in the comments below. Don't forget to like my videos. I'll have some flight footage coming up here at the end of the video. Okay, take it easy guys. GeekMAXX out. That's it for the flight footage.